The water hit Wren's shoulders like a judgment he couldn't escape. He stood under the showerhead in Ethan's guest bathroom, steam curling around him, trying to wash away the day, the week, the lie he'd been living since freshman year. It was supposed to be simple. Crash at his best friend's place after a late study session, grab a quick shower, sleep on the couch. But the moment Ethan had said, casual as breathing, "Use my bathroom, man. The hot water's better," something cracked open inside Ron. Now the spray felt like fingers tracing every secret he'd buried. He closed his eyes. The house was quiet except for the distant hum of the television downstairs where Ethan's parents watched their usual lineup. Mr. and Mrs. Caldwell, devout, kind in that practiced church way, pillars of the First Baptist congregation in suburban Raleigh. They'd welcomed Wren like a second son for years. Pizza nights, Thanksgiving leftovers, prayers before meals that always included thanks for good friends like Wren. They never asked why he never brought girls around. They assumed he was focused on pre-med. He let them. The bathroom door creaked. Wren froze. Soap slipped from his hand, clattering against the tile. "Yo, you alive in there?" Ethan's voice, muffled but close. Too close. "Yeah," Wren called back, throat tight. "Almost done." Silence stretched. Then the knob turned. The door opened just enough for Ethan's silhouette to appear in the steam. Wren's heart slammed against his ribs. He turned his back, pressing palms flat to the wall, willing the water to drown the panic. "I forgot my phone charger," Ethan said, but he didn't move for it. He stood there, door half open, watching. Wren felt the gaze like heat on his skin. Not predatory, curious, confused. The same way Ethan had looked at him last month during that bonfire when their knees brushed and neither pulled away. "You okay?" Ethan asked quieter. Wren laughed once, sharp and false. "Peachy." Another beat. "You sure? You've been weird all week." Weird. That was one word for it. Terrified was another. Because the truth had claws now, and it was clawing its way out every time Ethan smiled too long, laughed too easily, stood too near. "I'm fine," Wren said. "Just tired." Ethan stepped inside, closed the door behind him. The click echoed louder than the shower. Wren's pulse roared in his ears. "Dude, I'm naked." "I know." Ethan's voice cracked on the last word. I need to say something." Wren didn't turn. Couldn't. "Then say it." A long exhale. "I think I'm feeling things about you. Things I don't understand. Or maybe I do understand and that's worse." The words landed like stones in still water. Ripples spread through Wren's chest, cracking everything he'd tried to keep frozen. He shut off the water. The sudden silence was deafening. Slowly he faced Ethan. They stared at each other through the fading steam. Ethan wore an old college hoodie, sleeves pushed up, hair messy from running his hands through it. His eyes, hazel, always so steady, were wide with something raw and unguarded. Wren swallowed. "What kind of things?" Ethan took one step closer. "The kind that make me want to touch you, right now. And the kind that make me scared I'll go to hell for even thinking it." Wren laughed again, but this time it sounded broken. "Welcome to my life." Ethan's face crumpled. "You felt this too?" "Since sophomore year," Wren whispered. "Every damn day." Ethan closed the distance. Not touching. Not yet. Just close enough that Wren could smell the cedar of his cologne mixed with the faint mint of gum. "Then why didn't you say anything?" Ethan asked. "Because your dad baptized me when I was 12. Because your mom still sends me birthday cards with Bible verses. Because if this goes wrong, I lose the only family that's ever felt real." Ethan's hand lifted, hesitated, then settled lightly on Wren's wet shoulder. The contact burned. "I don't want to lose you either," Ethan said. "But I can't keep pretending I don't see you. Really see you." Wren's breath hitched. "What happens next?" "I don't know," Ethan admitted. "But I know I can't walk out of this bathroom and act like nothing changed." They stood like that, water dripping from Wren's hair onto the tile, Ethan's thumb brushing slow circles against his skin, until the silence felt like prayer. Downstairs, Mrs. Caldwell called up, cheerful. Boys? Pie's ready. Ethan flinched, dropped his hand. Ren felt the loss like a physical thing. Coming, Ethan shouted back. Then softer to Ren. We talk later, after they sleep. Ren nodded once, watched Ethan slip out. He stood alone again, naked, dripping, heart hammering with something dangerously close to hope and terror. The pie was apple cinnamon, still warm, the kind Mrs. Caldwell made when she sensed tension in the house. She set slices on the table with the same gentle smile she used during Bible study, as if sugar and scripture could smooth any rough edge. Ren sat across from Ethan. Their knees brushed under the table. Neither moved away. Mr. Caldwell asked about midterms. Ren answered on autopilot. Organic chemistry was brutal, but he'd pull through. Ethan nodded along, fork scraping plate, eyes flicking to Ren every few seconds. Mrs. Caldwell watched them both. You two seem quiet tonight. Everything all right? Fine, Mom, Ethan said too quickly. She tilted her head. You sure? You look like you swallowed a storm cloud. Ethan forced a grin. Just tired. Long week. She reached over, patted his hand. Well, eat up. Nothing a good slice can't fix. Ren stared at his plate. The crust flaked under his fork. He couldn't taste anything. After dessert, Mr. Caldwell suggested a movie. Some old western. They all agreed, too polite to disagree. In the living room, the lights dimmed. Ethan sat on one end of the couch. Ren took the other. A full cushion separated them, like a boundary line drawn in invisible ink. Halfway through, Ethan's pinky brushed Ren's thigh. Deliberate. Ren's breath caught. The touch lingered. Slow. Questioning. Ren shifted his hand until their fingers tangled under the blanket Mrs. Caldwell had draped over them. No one else noticed. On screen, a gunslinger faced down his past. Ren felt like that man. Cornered, heart racing, knowing the next move could end everything. When the credits rolled, Mr. Caldwell stretched. Bedtime for old folks. You boys don't stay up too late. Mrs. Caldwell kissed Ethan's cheek. Then Ren's. Love you both, she said, meaning it. The words landed heavier than usual. Once their bedroom door clicked shut upstairs, Ethan turned off the TV. The room plunged into near dark, only the hallway light spilling in. They sat in silence for a long minute. Then Ethan whispered, Come upstairs. Ren's stomach flipped. Your room? Yeah. They crept up the stairs like thieves. Ethan's door closed softly behind them. The space was familiar. Posters of classic rock bands, textbooks stacked on the desk, the faint smell of laundry detergent and boy. But tonight it felt charged, like the air itself held its breath. Ethan leaned against the door. I don't know what I'm doing, he admitted. Me neither, Ren said. Ethan stepped forward. But I know I want to kiss you. I've wanted to for months. Ren's pulse thundered. Then do it. Ethan cupped Ren's face with both hands. Gentle, reverent. Their lips met. Tentative at first, then deeper, hungrier, as if years of restraint poured out in one breath. When they broke apart, foreheads pressed together, Ethan laughed shakily. Holy crap! Ren smiled despite himself. Yeah. They sank onto the bed. Not rushing, just holding, talking in whispers about nothing and everything. How Ethan had prayed for the feelings to go away. How Ren had dated girls in high school to prove something to himself. How both of them had stared at the ceiling at night wondering if God still listened. I don't want to hurt my parents, Ethan said eventually. They're good people. They just believe different. I know, Ren murmured. Mine too. Or they would, if they were around enough to notice. Ethan's arms tightened. We don't have to decide everything tonight. But the decision was already forming, sharp and inevitable. They fell asleep tangled together, fully clothed, like teenagers hiding from the world. Morning came too fast. Mrs. Caldwell knocked. Breakfast, boys. They sprang apart. Ethan smoothed his hair. Ren straightened his shirt. Downstairs, pancakes waited. Smiles. Normalcy. But under the table, Ethan's foot hooked around Ren's ankle. a secret held in plain sight, and already cracking. Weeks blurred into stolen moments. Study sessions that ended with mouths instead of notes. Late-night drives where hands stayed linked across the console. Quick hugs in the hallway that lasted too long. They were careful, painfully careful. But secrets have weight, and weight bends things until they break. It happened on a Sunday. Church. The whole family. Wren included because refusing would raise questions. Pastor Reynolds preached on family values. Traditional marriage. God's design. Wren sat rigid beside Ethan. Their thighs pressed together on the pew, hidden by the hymnals. When the pastor quoted Leviticus, Ethan's hand clenched on his knee. After service, potluck in the fellowship hall. Mrs. Caldwell introduced Wren to the new youth pastor, a young guy named Micah who smiled too brightly and asked if Wren had a girlfriend yet. No, Wren said. Not right now. Micah nodded knowingly. Plenty of time. God's got someone special planned. Ethan, standing nearby with a plate of deviled eggs, went still. Later, in the parking lot, Ethan muttered, I hate this. Wren glanced around. No one close. Me too. I hate lying. To everyone. Wren sighed. What choice do we have? Ethan stopped walking. Maybe we tell them. Wren laughed once, bitter. Tell your parents their only son is dating his best friend? The one they treat like family? Ethan's jaw tightened. They're my parents. They love me. They love the version of you they've raised, Wren said quietly. Not this one. Ethan looked away. You think they'd stop? I think they'd pray harder. Harder for you to change. Harder for me to leave. Silence stretched between them like a fault line. That night Ethan texted, Come over. Parents at small group. Wren arrived. They barely made it inside before Ethan pulled him close, kissing him like drowning. But when they broke apart, Ethan's eyes were wet. I told Micah, he said. Wren froze. What? After church. I asked him, hypothetically, what if someone was struggling with same-sex attraction? What the church would say. And he said it's sin. That love means helping them repent. That if they won't, sometimes you have to love from a distance. Wren's stomach dropped. He knows. No, but he suspects. He asked if it was someone he knew. Wren stepped back. Ethan. I didn't say your name, but I almost did. Panic clawed up Wren's throat. We can't keep doing this here. Then where? Ethan demanded. This is my home. My life. Wren ran a hand through his hair. Maybe we slow down. Ethan's face shuddered. You want to break up? No. I want us to survive. Ethan turned away. I don't know if we can. Not like this. They stood in the kitchen, inches apart, worlds away. Then Ethan's phone buzzed. Mom home early. Hope you boys are behaving. Ethan stared at the screen. Wren felt the air leave the room. The lie grew teeth. Mrs. Caldwell started asking questions. Subtle at first. Why so much time together? Why no girls? Why the long silences? Mr. Caldwell watched with quiet concern. Micah started dropping by. Just checking in, he said. But his eyes lingered. Ethan withdrew. Not from Wren, from everything else. He stopped going to youth group. Skipped Sunday dinners. Buried himself in textbooks. Wren felt the distance like frost. One night Ethan called. Voice raw. They found my journal. Wren's heart stopped. What did it say? Enough. Wren drove over. Parked 2 streets away. Walked the rest. Ethan waited on the back porch. Face pale. They read it, he said. Everything. The feelings. The kisses. You. Wren sank onto the step beside him. What did they do? Prayed over me. Dad cried. Mom said she loved me, but this was the devil's temptation. Wren reached for his hand. Ethan let him take it for a moment, then pulled away. They want me to see a counselor, a Christian one, to fix me. Wren's throat closed. And you? I told them no. Silence. Then Ethan whispered. But I'm scared, Wren. Scared they'll kick me out. Scared they'll never look at me the same. Wren pulled him close. Ethan resisted at first, then collapsed against him, shoulders shaking. "I love you," Ethan said into Ren's neck. "But I don't know if love is enough." Ren held tighter. "It has to be." But doubt crept in like smoke. The next week, Micah cornered Ren after class. "Talk to me," he said. "Ethan's hurting. You're hurting him by not letting go." Ren stared. "You don't know anything. I know sin destroys. I've seen it." Ren walked away, but the words stuck. That night, Ethan texted, "I need space." Ren stared at the screen until it blurred. Months passed like penance. Ethan transferred to a Christian college 2 states away. Said it was for a better program. Everyone pretended to believe it. Ren stayed. Finished pre-med. Dated no one. They texted sometimes. Polite, careful. But the ache never left. One Christmas, Ren came home. Ethan's parents invited him over. Tradition. Ethan was there. Thinner. Eyes guarded. They exchanged gifts under the tree like strangers. Later, in the garage, Ethan cornered him. "I still love you," he said. No preamble. Ren exhaled. "I never stopped. But I can't come back," Ethan continued. "Not yet. Maybe not ever. They watch me." Micah checks in. "If I slip." Ren nodded. Understood. "But if I could choose again," Ethan whispered, "I'd choose you, even knowing the cost." Ren touched his cheek. "Then why don't you?" "Because I'm not brave enough." They stood there, foreheads touching, breathing the same air. Then Ethan stepped back. "Live well," he said. "Find someone who can love you in the open." Ren smiled sadly. "I already did." Ethan walked away. Ren drove home alone. Years later, rumors reached him. Ethan had left the church, moved to Seattle, started a nonprofit for queer youth from religious families. He never married. Neither did Ren. They never spoke again. But sometimes late at night, Ren wondered, was love worth the wreckage? Or was the wreckage proof it was never love at all? Was it right to ask someone to choose between family and heart? True or false, love conquers all except when belief stands in the way.